Gentle sunlight filtered through the forest canopy, spreading across the small, dew-covered dirt road. The fresh air made everything so peaceful that no one would think that just a few hours later, this place would become the beginning of a long, anxious night. Uyen woke up earlier than usual. She planned to go look for bamboo shoots in the forest behind the village, a forest she had only heard about from the locals, but had never ventured deep into. Uyen had only one simple thought in her mind: to pick some fresh bamboo shoots to make bamboo shoot soup for everyone. Before leaving, Uyen cheerfully said, "There will surely be hot bamboo shoot soup for lunch today." No one thought that this remark would become something that the An would remember all night long. Initially, everything went smoothly. Scattered young bamboo shoots appeared, quickly filling Uyen's small basket. The sounds of forest birds, the rustling leaves, and the smell of damp earth made her feel relaxed. But then, while searching for larger bamboo shoots, Uyen inadvertently ventured deeper into the forest. The familiar path gradually disappeared. The initial landmarks were gone. Uyen stopped, turning to look around. Every direction looked the same. A feeling of unease began to creep in. She tried to go back, but the further she went, the stranger it became. The space became eerily quiet. The sunlight was blocked by the trees, making the forest darker than usual. Uyen realized she had lost her bearings. Her heart began to beat faster. She tried to stay calm, continuing to search for a way out, but the terrain became steeper. The damp ground was slippery after the rain the day before. Then, in a moment of carelessness, Uyen's foot slipped from the edge of the ground. Her entire body lost its balance. A short scream echoed through the deep forest. Uyen tumbled down the mountain slope. Everything went dark. Evening was falling. At home, the An began to feel uneasy when Uyen didn't return. At first, he thought she had just gone further than planned. But when the sunset fell, and there was still no sign of her familiar figure, worry began to set in. He remembered Uyen's words from that morning. Looking for bamboo shoots. A bad feeling made him stand up immediately. Without waiting any longer, the An decided to go into the forest to search. The forest at twilight had a terrifying appearance, quite different from during the day. The light faded. The sound of insects filled the air. The An walked along, calling out loudly, "Uyen! Uyen!" There was no reply, only a cold echo returning from the depths of the forest. He followed the faint footprints on the soft ground. Then suddenly, he saw the bamboo shoots scattered, the basket lying askew, and not far away, Uyen's sandals. The An's heart tightened. He called louder, his voice beginning to tremble. "Yoon. Can you hear me?" No response. At that moment, a real sense of unease overwhelmed him. Uyen had disappeared. The sky quickly darkened. The deep forest gradually sank into a hazy darkness. The An continued searching, calling Uyen's name in panic. Then a sudden rain came. The forest rain poured down, bitterly cold. His clothes were soaked, mud clung to his feet, but he didn't stop. Only one thought occupied his mind. He had to find Uyen. After hours of searching the steep terrain, a faint light revealed a motionless figure at the foot of the slope. The An froze. It was Uyen. She lay unconscious, covered in mud, her breath weak. He immediately ran to her, calling her name repeatedly, but there was no response. His hands trembled as he checked her breath. It was still there. In that moment, he almost collapsed with relief. Without hesitation, the An hoisted Uyen onto his back. The road back was much longer than he had imagined. He took out his phone to call for help, but the screen went black. The phone had run out of battery. There was no other choice. The An clutched Uyen tightly to his back and began to run. The rain continued to pour down. The slippery path nearly caused him to fall several times, but each time he stumbled, he held on tighter. His breathing was ragged. His shoulders ached. His legs were almost exhausted. But he didn't stop. Just a little delay. It could be too late. Finally, the faint lights of the remote health center appeared in the rain. The doctors quickly took Uyen in for examination. The initial conclusion sent a chill down the An's spine. Uyen had a head injury and was in a coma. Because it was so late and the equipment was limited, she could only be monitored until morning before an X-ray could be taken. The An sat by the hospital bed. His clothes were still wet. His eyes never left Uyen. His phone battery was dead, preventing him from contacting anyone. The only sound in the silent space was the steady hum of the heart monitor. A long night began. Meanwhile, Han waited at home. Time passed, hour by hour. No text messages, no calls, no news. The silence fueled terrifying speculations in her mind. Han barely slept all night. The next morning, Uyen was taken for an X-ray. The wait for the results felt endless. Finally, the doctor came out with a slight smile. Uyen only had a mild concussion. There was no serious injury. The An breathed a sigh of relief for the first time after the whole night. Many hours later, Uyen stirred slightly. Her eyes slowly opened. The first thing she saw was the An sitting beside her. He gently helped her drink water, wiped her face, and reassured her little by little. Uyen only remembered going into the forest. Then, everything went dark. She softly asked, "How did I get back?" The An just smiled. "It's a long story. I'll tell you later when you're feeling better." That incident made everyone realize a simple but profound truth. Sometimes, just a moment of getting lost is enough to cause loved ones to spend a long night of anxiety. But it is in adversity that human kindness shines brightest, no grand words needed. Just staying, waiting, and not giving up. Uyen gradually recovered. Life returned to normal. But from that night on, everyone understood that there are acts of care that exist quietly, without fanfare, but strong enough to bring someone back from the darkness. And the An, the one who ran through the night in the rain, was still there, silently, but full of love